Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9, the sound of Bama sports, your show, your team. We're live and local and ready to get things going on this Friday morning. It's a free-for-all Flashback Friday. Got a few topics I want to hit, but hey, you're welcome to bring up a topic maybe we hit earlier this weekend. We didn't get to dig deeper or started a conversation and didn't get to finish, and you want to bring it back up, feel free to bring it back up on today. All you have to do is give us a call on the Alabama One hotline at 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline, 205-342-9904. And speaking of Alabama One, hey, don't forget to go check out that great promotion that they have going on with the Big Green Egg. Order a tractor with a side of Big Green Egg. What am I talking about? Commercial and ag ag equipment. You can get the interest rates as low as 1.99. And hey, listen, if you're not into the commercial ag side of things, but you got your eyes on some toys, a boat, an RV, a UTV, golf cart, etc., camper, we can give you that same great potential interest rate as low as 1.99 based on your requirement. Restrictions do apply. But hey, listen, if you get qualified and get the loan, you will get entered to win a Big Green Egg. We've had some winners. We'll be announcing some of those names as we move. Still an opportunity to win one of 8 remaining Big Green Eggs. That's presented by Alabama One. Remember this: trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding, always acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. So, hey, if you're tuned in on the radio airwaves, like I said, I want to invite you to jump in on the phone lines. Or if you're tuned in on social media, Tide 109, Martin Houston Live on both Facebook and YouTube, and at Martin Houston 35 on Twitter. You can join us on the chat side of things. Man, don't forget, God's blessed us with a beautiful day, and we're going to pray that the storms dissipate and not get bad. But go out there today and make a difference. Be somebody that somebody will be glad to call a friend, a companion, a partner, a teammate. And speaking of that, we had some interesting comments from a former Alabama teammate, Mr. Jai Hall. We'll talk about his comments and what he's had to say. We'll talk about, really, it started off with me wanting to talk a little bit about some potential changes to the transfer portal, but we'll dig in and talk a little bit more about more roster management. It looks like the NCAA might be considering doing a few things from the taking suggestions from the American Football Coaches Association, and as well as a couple other committees and opportunities there to maybe help with the portal. And so we'll talk about that, and then of course I don't know if you've seen the Todd McShay, of course, way too early draft pick for 2023. But we'll talk about that. And, Joe may need to get on the prophecy circuit for NFL draft picks. Joe made a statement yesterday. I'm sure when he made it, some of you may have said, "Are you sure you think that guy's a first rounder?" Well, McShay agrees with Joe. Who am I talking about? Well, you have to stay tuned to get to that conversation. Before we get into those specific topics, just a couple quick things. Alabama had another offensive lineman enter the draft, Dane Shore, citing mental health, and just want to pray for that young man. He talked about some really really serious things there. Joe, I know you wrote an article on him. Were you able to get any more insight than what his Twitter account had? I think I'm still uh, not able to get Joe in. But if you haven't seen the article and hadn't heard, go check it out. Young man talking about fighting suicidal thoughts, and don't be too quick to judge when you hear that, because it's supposedly he went through it and had treatment for it before he ever stepped foot on this campus. He said he wants a fresh start. I'm not sure. Um, what the fresh start's going to do, since he was battling it before he came to the University of Alabama. But wishing him nothing but the best, and hopefully things gets worked out. And then, of course, we got Louisville coach saying Alabama is tampering. Uh, Scott Satterfield said that Alabama was tampering when he was asked about his speedy wide receiver transferring, that's Tyler Harrell from University of Louisville, whether or not he think tampering had happened. He said, I think it's not only him, it's happened here before here. Last year we had a few guys that jumped into the portal, and the next day they're announcing where they're going. You can look at that and know that something um, went on before they were in the portal. The Crimson Tide reported several outlets to be in the mix for Harrell before the wideout even entered his name into the portal. Once he had officially announced his intention to transfer, Harrell selected Alabama just 10 days later. So the wave of tampering allegations began to heat up this week with the Jordan Addison, and I get it. I'm sure that without a doubt they're doing it. But when I was looking at an earlier story, there's a top wide receiver from Boston College who turned down. Maybe we need to highlight that young man as well, as he was in the portal. I mean, not in the portal, but offered $600,000. He's one of I think he says there's 14 people in his household, but he chose to stay at Boston College and not take the run for the money. So yeah, not all of them are playing for the money, or maybe Boston College offered him more to stay. Either way, allegations like this are going to continue, and until the NCAA and others do something about the regulations around the um, whole NIL deal in the transfer portal kind of combo thing, it's not going to change. So let's get to Allen. I got several other things I want to get to. Man, it's a lot to talk about this morning. And I promise we will get to Jai Hall on the other side. I want to get Joe's thoughts there, and we'll talk about roster management and how NIL, transfer portal, scholarship limitation, uh, number of signing limitations, all are playing into that. As we go, let's go ahead and get to Allen. Allen, you're in with the Martin Hughes Show. What's on your mind, sir?
It's simple as this, Morton. Nobody's gonna leave their job without having a backup. That's in business. That's in college football. Why would you even think about leaving Louisville or Pitt or anywhere like that without having a landing spot to go to?
Yeah.
You're not going to leave one place if you on scholarship and go and just jump out there and say, hey, I don't have a scholarship nowhere else. I'm gonna just jump out here.
You didn't hear my numbers then, Allen, did you? Do you know that there's uh, still a couple thousand kids in the portal um, it's almost it's not quite 50% of the kids who enter the portal are still in it.
But they also had the option of going back to that school.
No. That's kids ending up without. See, that's what people don't get. When you go into the portal, most of the kids who go into the portal, their scholarship ends then. The other team, Alabama does not have to hold that scholarship for that kid. They can immediately free up that scholarship. And so that the problem is, Alan, I agree with you. As an adult, that's the wise thing to do. Um, um, I can say that personally, many moons ago when I was a much younger man, I went on the words of somebody else on something, and it didn't work out the way I expected. Um, and I would say that I probably had a little more maturity than most of these guys. What do you think they're hearing, Alan? They're being told, "Hey, yeah, come here, come here, come here, come here." But what happens if you're but what happens if you're a kid? Think about this. What if some kid was told that he was going to get come out of the portal and enter the portal, we'll give you a scholarship, and then Jordan Addison's name pops up. What do you think happens to that kid that left that other school?
Now, if that happens, if he's that good, somebody else is going to pick him up. It may not be where he wants to go to, but somebody else should pick him up. And to me, it goes back deeper than just the portal right there. That goes back to you having a strong family that's going to support you and tell you, hey, stay where you at, don't go. You know, the grass is always greener on the other side, but people don't realize it's greener because it's fertilized with manure. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better to stay where you're at, and then just keep popping out somewhere else.
Yeah, well, and I'm going to get to this on the other side, Alan. But there's only the NCAA has a scholarship limitation. You can only have 85 scholarship players. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good a kid is. He has to find a school that has an open scholarship if he gives up his scholarship, or he ends up going there as a walk on. And I wish I could find that article. I was trying to find it. Alan, you should have heard those numbers, man. It's heartbreaking.
What happens if you said Walker, what happens if I get $10 million from Alabama, so to speak? I can pay for I'm a walk-on, so what? I don't pay for it. I don't need the scholarship.
That remember, NIL deals and scholarship deals and contracts aren't guaranteed money. In other words, it is supposed to be all performance based. Okay, meaning that you know when there's something you're supposed to do in order to get this. Now, like in other words, I don't know what that means completely. Not not necessarily pay for play, but like when Bryce Young signs that contract, someone should be able to look at that contract when he got that BMW, and it should say in there what he has to do. Okay, so he should have to do certain things in order to keep that. Now, whether he does or not, that's another story, huh?
My last comment would be, how far are we from agents being involved with these NIL deals?
There already are. They just don't call them sports agents. They call them marketing reps. That's what's going on, man. Alan, let me tell you, this whole Jordan Addison, Bryce Young thing, I'm not sure that wasn't an NIL ploy. I think the kid's going to USC. My question, this was my question, Alan. Was there ever any indication that that young man may come to Alabama? Probably not. But, and I don't know this. I don't know this at all. But what if Addison and Bryce Young have the same agent and they set that up so that USC now is in a what? A recruiting battle, a free agency battle for him. Now he gets more money to stay with a decision he already was making. I don't know that for sure, but you see what I'm saying? it, illegal tampering is happening at kind of crazy, and that's what's going to be, I think, you know, the offering kids in high school was going on, but everybody was kind of recruiting that kid, so everybody was in touch with him. But this illegal tampering is even more targeted, in my opinion. Where somebody, not everybody, in other words, not everybody knew that Jordan Addison was interested in transferring, right? Because he wasn't really. He became interested in transferring when USC communicated to him, and guess how they communicated it to him? That these marketing reps, the way the young man from Boston College explained it to him, he said these marketing reps, companies said, hey, if you'll go to this school, we can get you $600,000. In other words, Martin Houston has now aligned himself with the University of ABC. I'm now out there asking people. I know how much money I have from ABC College to offer top players, and now they're telling family members and getting to that kid, hey, if you go to this school, we'll get you 600. This school will give you 300. That's the game that's being played now, Alan. It's there's gonna have to be something done. But anyway, I appreciate you, man. Yeah, I feel bad. There's a lot of kids though, Alan, that's out there. There's been over 6,000 kids between the top three divisions of football enter the portal, and there's thousands of them who have either walked away from football or had to be a walk on. Just over, I think it was 51% of D1 scholarship players are ending up on the scholarship. Over 40 something percent of the rest are not getting scholarships anywhere, and over 50% of the players still in the portal. So it's bad. It's bad. A lot of guys losing. A lot of guys losing opportunity to get an education because 99.9% of the players that go to college don't play NFL. So the players are definitely losing in the transfer portal war, with the exceptions of a few big guys. Hey, this is Martin Houston. This is the Martin Houston Show, Tide 100.9. Curtis Lewis said, if you can't play the game, Satterfield, get out of the game. Well, Curtis, I agree if you can't, but the problem is, what are the rules of the game? Satterfield is crying wolf because if we tampered, we broke the rules. But are there really any rules if there's nobody to enforce them? I guess that's the question that college football is going to have to answer with the portal, the NIL, etc. We'll talk more about that right here on the other side of the Martin Houston Show on Top 100.9.
Cleaning, Cerakoting, and laser engraving.
All right, Bama Nation, you're back in with the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. Overflow Express Wash, Overflow Express Wash. Go check them out. They can take care of you, helping keep your car clean inside and out. Overflowexpresswash.com is where you can find them online. Great individual washes, but you can for $23.99 you can get a month. You can get an unlimited wash plan, and it goes up from there based on what your needs are. Check out overflowexpresswash.com to find out all the details. Andy Phillips and his team do a great job of helping you keep your car clean inside and out. All right, man. This tampering thing, how do you feel about it? I want to hear from you. Uh, we got Harold. We're now being accused of tampering. Will and Curtis Lewis, as I said, say if you can't play the game, Satterfield, get out of the game. Is Alabama, if tampering doesn't get addressed, and is allowed to go on, and because I think there's tampering, not from once again the smart coaches know to not get involved directly, just like they did in recruiting. Just like they did in recruiting. It wasn't them. It was, hey, a booster comes by and they talk to a booster in their office, unrecorded conversation. They throw out some hints, some drops of, hey, man, really like to have this kid as a part of our upcoming recruiting class, maybe a year or two out. And, kind of leave it out there. You know, and Curtis says there are no rules, so you proceed accordingly. There are rules. A coach cannot contact a player. There's not a lot of rules. It is the Wild Wild West, but one rule is you cannot contact a player until the player has put their name into the portal. So that's what I was trying to explain. So the coaches are smart. The coaches are doing the same thing here that they did in high school. Um, they don't actually directly contact the player. They actually let the marketing agents, these organizations that have been set up to represent players and schools, etc. They reach out. Like I said, the young man from Boston College said that he had a marketing agent group reach out to him and offer him one offer. He had an offer of 600,000, an offer of 300,000, and they said this school will give you this much. I know I can get you this much if you go to this school. The coach didn't say it, but they had to be operating under the coach's, uh, prescription. The coach prescribed a remedy, and they delivered it. They offered it up as the doctor. So there's not a lot of rules, but there are a few rules. And does Alabama become, the easy pickings target if tampering is allowed? In other words, would you not target more Alabama players if they're not going to do anything about tampering? So let's go to Curtis Moore. Curtis Moore, you're in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, I called. I was going to talk about that John Holmes thing.
You're welcome to.
Okay. Well, I was going to say a big comment about the NIL thing. I kind of know the way, but I kind of agree with Eric Lewis on that. I mean, if they don't have rules as far as, I guess, how the marketing people are reaching out to them, then I guess
that's illegal too.
well.
Yeah. I mean, they're not supposed to do it, but you're not supposed to contact the player about transferring. But like I said, who's going to enforce it? That's the problem. Is if you lived in a community that has speeding and there are no law enforcement officers to enforce speeding, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, if so even though they say you're not supposed to contact kids aren't supposed to be recruited away. You and I both know that Jordan Addison was offered $1 million to go to USC before he was ever in the portal. Okay. Satterfield said that Alabama, he didn't say reporters, he said Alabama, the Crimson Tide reported that Harrell was going to go to several schools before his name went in the portal. I don't know if that's true or not, but 10 days after going in the portal, he was at Alabama. Tennessee, you're not supposed to have an NIL deal with the kid in high school, right? Because you're not supposed to use it to recruit a kid to your school directly. Well, everybody knows that Tennessee has offered the kid, $2 million a year if he goes. So, but there doesn't seem to be any consequences because there's no one who's going to enforce that, and so that's why that's the bad part is there are rules, but it's almost like gentleman rules. And let me tell you what my dad used to tell me, Curtis. He told me, he said, he he didn't lock his door one day, and he said, why lock the door? And I was like, so nobody steal it. He said, okay. He said, if an honest man come by and see my door is unlocked, he ain't gonna steal it anyway. He said, a crook come by and he see my door is unlocked and he see something in there he gonna break my window and get it anyway. Now I've lost my item and I have to replace my own window. So right now these guys don't have any consequences for doing it.
Yeah, it's a very dirty game out there.
Yep. But hey, go ahead and make your comments on the Jai Hall, man. I give you that time.
Y'all be real quick.
You don't have to be quick. Take your time.
So yeah, with the job thing, about I kind of want to focus on that hard playbook thing because all this fan love and all that stuff. You focus on that playbook and getting on the starting roster in Texas because they got some dogs that wide receiver out there. So I don't know why he's worried about the love of the fans and all that, all these external factors. So, but what I want to kind of get into is what does he mean by the Alabama playbook Sark invented and all that? What does he mean by that though? He's like, oh, the playbook went with Sark and all that. I'm like Sark was like the Lane Smith or whatever, like reinvented the offense and all that. I mean, what does he mean by that?
He's saying that he was the player he was. I guess I'm trying to figure it out, being that he never really played in Sark's playbook, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I really don't know how he would make that judgment. And now, right now, so somebody tell me how a man who has not done anything at a university know that the fans love him unconditionally. Tell me how. I want to focus on the what he said. How does he know Texas fans love unconditionally? What is he?
You'll get her 5 minutes.
Yeah. What? I mean, that's like saying she gonna love me forever. Well, when did y'all meet? Yesterday. Oh, she gonna love you forever, huh? Okay. Unconditionally, huh? Okay. Go out, come check with me in a month and see how many forever marriages didn't end in forever. As a matter of fact, show me how many forever marriages didn't end, in a matter of a few years. So to me, this just speaks to why this young man is no longer at Alabama. Okay, he's blaming everybody, and his dad's right there with him. They're blaming everybody but themselves. Okay? Texas is excited to have you, Agiya Hall, for the same reason Alabama fans were excited to have you, because you have huge, big time potential. But let me explain something to you, Mr. Agiya Hall. Potential means you ain't done nothing yet. That's what a potential means. Potential means you have within you the ability to be great and you ain't done squat. That's what it means. You don't apply potential to Bryce Young. You don't apply the word, oh, he has great potential to Will Anderson, right? The reason Alabama fans loved you was because you had great potential. You showed a flash of it, and then you couldn't hold water, young man. So anybody that's buying this, I hope the young man. I'm wishing him success, Mason. I hope he has. Curtis. I hope he has success. But,
Me too.
but with him making statements like that and saying that the fan base don't really love you and all of that, and he's been there. Did even? I mean, anyway, the young man has no idea. He hadn't been to spring yet, has he? Because he left here in the middle of spring. So
He wasn't there.
so Texas fans don't know anything about you, Agiya, because they love you, right? So anyway, and then like the Sark playbook thing is just him trying to maybe trying to butter up Sark or something, Curtis.
Do you think it's a jab at Bill O'Brien?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's a jab at Alabama and Bill O'Brien. Absolutely. But he didn't. I mean, he could have been Jameis Williams. Jameis Williams don't have a problem with Bill O'Brien's playbook. Um, Bryce Young doesn't have one either.
Yeah.
So, all right, but thanks, Kurt. Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks for bringing that up and pointing that out to me last night. I appreciate you sending that to me. Gave me a heads up on it.
No problem.
All right, man. Have a good one. All right, coming back on the other side, we'll continue the conversation. Try to get into a little bit of this roster management, potential transfer windows, roster limitations, 25-man limit potentially changing. If you have something you want to bring up, I'm going to respond. CJ Watson saying something about tampering. We'll add that to the conversation, and you're welcome to do so as well on the Alabama One hotline, 205-342-9904.
High 100.9 traffic.
From the Towns of Nissan Traffic Center, we start our Friday morning accident-free. Roadways look good. If you do see conditions throughout the morning that folks need to hear about, just give me a call, 205-886-8886. Believe it or not, you now can get a lifetime powertrain warranty on new and used vehicles at Towns and Nissan. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard, right next door to Alabama One, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get access. Well, not anymore, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide with deals like our Silver Unlimited plan for just $45 a month and no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G No contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Everything is better at Benton Nissan. At Benton Nissan of Bessemer and Benton Nissan of Hoover, you get an even bigger selection. We have more than 400 used cars on the ground. Don't pay above sticker for new cars when we have like new used cars waiting for you. Drive a little, save a lot at Benton Nissan of Bessemer, 5487 Academy Way, and Benton Nissan of Hoover, 1640 Montgomery Highway. Benton Nissan, your friend in the car business. For qualified customers, see dealer for details. Everything is better at Benton Nissan.
If you work remote, Staples has you covered.
A mid-mod desk chair to rejuvenate my ho-hum workspace.
Staples has you covered.
A place to put my papers so I can be more productive.
A storage cabinet that I can roll out of the way on weekends.
Staples has you covered with remote workspace solutions. And now get 25% off storage and filing products, chair mats, decor, and lighting with the purchase of an office chair or desk. Explore solutions for your remote workspace at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 5/28 in store only.
COVID-19 has disrupted our lives, but it won't have the last word. We will. Across Alabama, thousands are getting vaccinated to protect themselves and others. Find out where you can get the COVID vaccine today at alabamaunites.com. Please get vaccinated. If you have symptoms, also get tested for COVID-19. Alabama Unites Against COVID. Sponsored by the ADPH, the ABA, and this station.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our pep talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. Great conversation going on. CJ Watson responding to the tampering conversation. I feel like right now Bama can survive tampering pretty well right now as long as Saban is in place, the Saban factor. But whenever he takes it to the house, Bama likely becomes much more vulnerable to have players tamper away if regulations aren't put in place. Bama fans, there are 18 guys who have left this program on scholarship this year. 18 that just left because they didn't think they were going to get to play here. So if you don't think that right now, if JoJo Earl, maybe Christian Leary, based on what happens with Tyler Harrell, if you don't think some of these other guys who may not play as freshmen and sophomores, and that's not a negative. Not playing as a freshman and sophomore isn't a bad thing. It just means that there's good guys in front of you. If you don't think that a potential guy like a Chris Braswell, say Chris Braswell doesn't get to play a lot this year, a guy who we've said we think could play and would be starting if he didn't have two really, really good guys in front of him. If you don't think that somebody that needs a defensive end come tampering with him, If you don't think that'll make that guy leave, he might transfer anyway for an opportunity to play, much less if he's tampered with. Remember, these are 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, and when you tell them how great they are, they believe it. And when you say, not only are you great, you'd be an all SEC player at my school, you'd be an all ACC player at my school, you'd be an all American candidate at my school, and Saban isn't even putting you on the field. And if you come, I'm going to get you $1 million. You won't ever get that being a backup at Alabama. You could come get that being a star at my house. So, guys, Nick Saban or not, these kids are coming to college now. Yeah, they want to win national titles. They want to win national titles, but they also want to make it to the league. So, I'm just saying. Anyway, let's go to Tom. Tom, you're in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, Mark. Good morning.
Good morning. Good. How you doing?
I'm great. A great show this morning, by the way. But tampering, I want to talk about this. I mean, is tampering going on? Probably.
Not probably. It is.
Is it criminal compared to everything else that's going on? It's nothing.
Hey, but Tom, that can't be the guideline though, because there's never been anything criminal about recruiting. I mean, all of the kids who have ever lost their scholarship, every football player that's ever been put on probation have not broken any law except for the NCAA rule. Okay? Huh?
Exactly. A group of people sitting up in some ivory tower somewhere that some kid that's trying to make his way in the world gets a few dollars back in the day, few dollars. But the principle is the same today. But here's what I want to say. When Cam Newton, all the talk about Cam Newton at Auburn, and the NCAA was going to suspend him and all like that, and Mike Sly intervened with his legal mind, which was great, by the way. I listened to a couple of speeches by Commissioner Sly back in the day, and he was just absolutely a brilliant man. But when the NCAA started in on offers by Cam, Mike Sly said, "Okay, I'll tell you what you do. You suspended him, but I suggest you put him back on the roster and make him eligible, because if you don't, they're fixing to be a huge lawsuit, and we're going to see, if you got something, you better put the evidence out there. Otherwise, we're fixing to go to court." Rush Pro over in Georgia, he started spouting off here 2 or 3 years ago about Alabama and Georgia and how they went about doing their business, everything like that. Alabama got their legal team. Georgia got their legal team. They showed up on that on the office of Rush Pro and said, "Okay, here's a courtless quarter. We've got 2 lawyers here. Now we want to hear what you say on the record." He shut up and ran head in the bush. Now this coach at Louisville, I would do, if I was Alabama, I'd do the same thing. I'd take my legal team and court reporter, and I'd go up there and I'd swear everybody in. And I said, "Okay, now let's have the evidence. Before you go spouting your mouth off about Alabama, you better have some evidence." And I'd push him into the corner and make him prove that there was tampering, and then I'd make it public.
Well, his point is, the evidence that he would have that convinces me is, did Alabama make announcements that he was looking at transferring before his name was in the portal? Tom?
But is that fact?
Huh?
Is that fact?
It was being reported that he may come to Alabama before he ever put his name in the portal.
Right. That's my point.
Yeah, that was reported. I mean, we were talking about it before he went in the portal.
With the day media, that doesn't make it true, given their track record.
No, I'm saying you can see when he went in the portal, he was already being listed as coming to Alabama. But he said it first, supposedly.
Correct.
So, but to Alan's point earlier, Tom, do you think this young man came out and said that he's looking at going to Alabama without having talked to Nick Saban or anybody representing this university? Do you think there's any kid out there that would say, "Yeah, I'm going to Alabama. I'm going to transfer to Alabama," and hadn't had a conversation with Alabama or a representative of some sort of Alabama?
Probably not. But my thing is, I thought you made the point earlier. There's 1,000 different ways to get a message to somebody wants to transfer that you want at your school, and that's all we waiting about.
No, it's not legal. It's just it's the same thing with Cam Newton. I mean,
I talked to his brother, and I say, we'd love to have him, and he goes back and tells Harold, young man Harold, that Alabama would take you in a heartbeat. Is that illegal?
Who are you representing?
His brother.
No. How are you making that statement? Are you making that statement as officially a part of Alabama or as a fan of Alabama? As a fan, I hope the kid wouldn't take that from you as a fan. Okay? But if you have, like I said, if you have had a conversation with Nick Saban and then you go back and tell that kid and Nick Saban said it, then they can trace that back that's tampering. But if you hadn't had that conversation, you probably don't. Your word, the word has to be of value. It can't come from me saying it. It has to be somebody that's in the program. And if it's not somebody in the program, then it's just like you and I saying today on the radio, man, we'd love to have Jordan Addison. That doesn't mean anything to anybody. And if Jordan Addison does that based on you and I saying it, then he's a fool. But
it's not official if you and I say that.
But if someone that he has solicited, whether it be a booster, a marketing representative, or whatever, but if you get yourself far enough removed, you have to have enough people to cave in and say, "Yeah, he told me, and then he told me, and he told me, and he told me." The cousin, that's who told me. Then maybe you can't trace it back. But hey, here's the thing. As long as there's nobody enforce the rules, just like you said with the Cam Newton thing, coaches are gonna do it. I mean, let's be real. And I'm willing to bet that there was conversation, whether it's enforced or not. Tom, Alabama got word somehow to that young man that he would have a landing spot here. I mean, you can't convince me otherwise. That young man did not go into the portal not knowing that Alabama wanted him.
Yeah.
Officially knowing that. How they communicated, I don't know. But
I'm on the other side of this, saying if he was going to transfer anyway, what's the difference? I mean,
he may not would have transferred though.
That coach at Louisville is going to let that kid.
I don't know that he was going to transfer.
Well, we don't know that he was.
Right. But maybe the coach.
That's why I'm saying.
But Tom, the coach has more knowledge than you and I do. The coach has more knowledge than you and I do. And by the way, if you read the article, he didn't say just Alabama. He said it happened a year before as well. So, and he's kind of seen that pattern. I got to get to one more quick call, Tom. We can finish that conversation because I'm gonna pick up the transfer portal and all that on Monday because there's some rules possibly changing there. Okay, and we'll pick this conversation back up. Appreciate you, man. All right, Pat, you in with the Martin Houston Show. I'm gonna let you close it out, sir.
Real quick, yeah, thank you, Martin. I'm seeing that NCAA looks like they're going to make it to where we can get more than 25 players per year. Oh my goodness! Hey, can you say the richer going to keep getting richer?
Well, it's really.
Certainly can't be touched.
Well, the rich could get richer, Pat, but the question is, you can still only have 85, and that's part of what I was saying I'm going to get to deeper on Monday. But I'll say this, Pat. You say the rich going to get richer, but here's the thing. If you can sign more than 25, that means that you only had 60 scholarship players at the end of the year. And if you end the season with 60 scholarship players, and then you take transfer portal eats up 18, now you're going to have a roster with 50 upperclassmen and 35 freshmen. So your depth, your experience. So it's good that you can go over that to build your roster back up, but you don't want to be in a position where you have to sign 35 to 40 kids a year. And it's only a 2-year waiver right now. We'll dig more into it, Pat, next week. Yeah, because to me that's part of roster. That whole thing goes into roster management.
Yeah, that 85 number has got to get looked.
Yep, and that's kind of my thought too. Thanks, Pat.
Have a blessed weekend, Martin.
You do likewise. Hey, guys, it's been a great show. Thank you so much. I love it. Hey, listen, guys, I get both sides of these issues, and whichever side you're going to bring up, I'm going to make you think about the other side as well. Not that I necessarily agree or disagree on it. I'm just trying to point out all of the angles of what's happening there and what's happening. And we'll talk more about roster management, transfer portal, NIL, and all of that. College football needs a fix, but like the Auburn's Coach Harbin said, hey, it's early in the game. He said, everybody, don't panic. It's going to work itself out. Is he true? Is he truthful on that? Does he think so? Probably so. Agiya Hall, good luck in Texas. We'll see how much they love you if you don't produce. If you produce, they'll love you on that condition. For the Martin Houston Show, for Alabama One Insurance, for Alabama One, and all of my other great sponsors, Taco Casa, Overflow Express Wash, we want to thank you for being a part of the program. All the caller listeners, chatters, and viewers, thank you, Joe, for pressing all the right buttons. Remember this, trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding. All your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Invite you to join us at Harvest Church this Sunday for Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of the great moms out there. We love you from the Martin Houston Show. Roll Tide, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.